As a quick disclaimer before we get into the video, I decided to ask for other people's opinions, and you're gonna see screenshots of some other people's tier lists. This is just to show that everybody has different experiences in game with different people, so we all have different opinions. Some of you watching this might think that all of our opinions are wrong, maybe you agree with someone specifically. So yeah, this is just a for fun video, it's nothing serious, and let's see what other people said. This one is Gogblitz's. This one is Bender's human only list. He actually made two. Next one is Bender's, like the format that I used for this video. And then we have Bambusha. So yeah, we all have different opinions, and maybe you'll agree with some, maybe not. I don't know. Watch the video, we'll see. Hello and welcome to another Vampirism fire video, except it's gonna be a little bit different. So today we're gonna be doing a tier list of some of the active players and players that I've actually seen in games, and we're gonna be putting them in terms of skill. Now, there's not a whole lot of names here. As I said, it's gonna be mostly the active players. Like, there's really a ton of people who haven't played in a long time and are still members of a clan, so I just didn't include them in the list. A lot of people would have then just immediately went to the I don't know tier list or tier or whatever I name it. So I just decided to include the people who I have actually seen within, like, I don't know, a year or a year and a half or something in games. So some of these might even be people that I haven't seen in a while, but I'm still familiar with. So I've also split some of the humans into two categories. Like, for an example, I don't know, Pavido or Chris Beeman, Chin, they all have like a V and an H, meaning vampire and human skill. But for some people who either just play one or I think they're pretty equal in both skill levels, I just left them as one, you know. So like, I didn't do, let's say, Fotsin vampire and human, because Fotsin is pretty much only a human player. I don't think I've seen him play vampire, and I don't think he likes playing vampire. So I just didn't include like his vampire side. It'll be only for human, and I'll reference what I'm putting if that's like relevant to a certain individual. And the way I'm gonna go for this is, I guess I'm gonna do it in like how much I value them on my team. So for an example, if let's say I'm putting Zephyr as a vampire and Zephyr as a human, I'm gonna go by how likely he is to hold and not like feed a shit ton of gold, how like trustworthy he is as an ally. And as vampire, I'm gonna go by like how good it is to play with him on the same team as a vampire and how likely you are to win with him when he's vampire. And I'm gonna go through these. I'm gonna probably speedrun a lot of them because it's a decently long list. There's 102 or 3 names on here. So these are our tiers, and without further ado, let's begin. So they're in clan order, by the way, as well as clan color. And first off, we have Pedram. So Pedram, I would put both like as a vampire and as a human player. I think he's pretty equal on both. So that's at least my experience with him in game. Maybe somebody disagrees, but I think he's like pretty B tier. So fire, I haven't seen fire in a long time, so I don't think it's unrealistic to go for like a middle tier like B or C, because I really haven't seen this person in a while, and it's kind of hard to gauge skill based off of that. So K4, now he has 2, but I'm pretty sure that K4, if he just played more, he'd consistently be S tier in both. So his human is definitely S tier, but he doesn't play that much. And when he does play, he plays a little bit, and then he pretty much stops again. So I guess both are S tier, honestly. I'm not sure about Vampire, but I'm sure about Human. He is one of the top tier players, no matter how you look at it, and yeah, I think both belong in S tier. SBD, this person doesn't play a whole lot, and I'm not sure. I guess C tier. I haven't seen this person play Vamp ever, so this is a human rating. Maybe I should have added it, but it is what it is. Valantis. So I do not trust him to hold. I've had very bad experiences when trusting him to hold, and yeah, it's probably a C tier. Sophie Plus. So I've seen Sophie Plus Vamp only a handful of times, and that's mostly like a human player, and I'm not sure about the Vamp rating. I think human, it's either B or A. It's gonna be pretty difficult, honestly. It's gonna be hard to gauge some. I might move some around as I go through this. Some people might get better ratings, so I'm not sure yet. So that is human rating, and Vampire I would put around here. I think that's fair. Rem is somebody who has not played in a long time, and I've seen him only recently coming back a little bit. So it's between D and F. Which this isn't F tier compared to the new player, it's F tier compared to everybody else on the list, so I don't know, it's either D or F. I'm gonna put it in D for now. Yeah, I think D is alright, it's fair. Risky Bet also has not been here for a while. I'd say his Vampire and Human are equal. Maybe his Vampire edges out his Human a little bit in terms of overall skill. I think he's a solid B or a C. I'm gonna put him in B. Sango, how, I don't know how you pronounce some of these names. Pretty solid Vamp and Human. I'm not sure where I'd put him. It's definitely better than people in this tier. I put him in a B. Although I don't believe in this. I'd probably do it like this then. Again, no hard feelings. It's just really hard to see what you're gonna do with these names in advance. But yeah, we have the final VFG member, which is Fotzen. And as I said, some people are human only or Vamp only. Fotzen is human only, and I think he's one of the better holders, top tier. You trust him to hold for you, so yeah. Okay, next, Zimrim. Oh wait, we have to no, stop. Add a row above. Okay, C tier. I'm gonna put it in a little bit lighter color. Okay, yeah. So Zimrim, definitely an F tier. I don't think there's any other place to put him, if I'm being honest. So yeah. Now I can do this as well. Okay. Waterwalker. I feel pretty much the same when he's on my team as a human and on my team as a vampire. So I'm not confident about this placement. I'd say it goes like this. maybe. So yeah, Water Walker would be right around here. Pretty much, yeah. Toro Loco, another player who I haven't seen in a long time, and it's hard to gauge skill like that. So there it goes. Ruggerish. So Ruggerish, I'm pretty sure he's equal on the human and the vampire department, and yeah, I think it's realistic to put him around here. Although I'd say that Fotson is a better human than Ruggerish. It's kind of rough to really go through this and put it in the best possible places, because I do believe that Fotson is a better human than Ruggerish, but not like, it's not miles ahead, you know. He is a decently better human, but yeah, I don't know, it's hard. Duke is a weird one. He's kind of about a wild card. Sometimes Duke is gonna play really well, sometimes he's gonna die really fast, and that's gonna annoy you because you've seen him play well the game before. And he's pretty much the same whether he's on your team as a human or as a vamp. I'm gonna probably put him... I don't know, I don't feel like his human is as good as Sophie Plus's human. It's weird. It's really weird. We might need an A+ and an A- tier, honestly. The way this is going, I'm just gonna add another tier. A-. Yeah, then I do something like this. Yeah, I think that's better. Then I haven't seen him in a long time as well, and last time I did see him, he was around this tier, around there probably, between B and A-. Fizz, recently seen in a couple of games, coming back to the game. I guess I'm gonna go with B as well, which is obviously gonna increase as he plays more games and gets back into the game. Tanoob is decent. He can hold decently well, but he's again becoming inactive, so yeah. Beckman, I've pretty much only ever seen Beckman play Vamp, and he's a decent support Vamp. Pretty decent. I'm not sure if it's B or A-. I'm between B and A-, I'm not sure. I'm gonna put him in A- for now. Yeah, I don't know, I don't feel like he's as good as Duke because like activity edges it out, you know. Pavido is one of those that has a V and an H, which means vampire and human. I really think his vampire's bad, no offense. I don't enjoy the way he plays vampire. It feels slow to me. So yeah, that's where it's gotta go. In terms of his human, I'd say it's an A-, but I really think his vampire needs improvement. It's like when you take a vampire gameplay from a couple of years ago, like 4, 5, 6 years, and you apply it to today. It's not the same and it doesn't work the same, so it's a bit outdated. Chris Beeman. So I believe that Chris is a better vamp than he is a human, if I'm being honest. I'd say that his vamp is A tier, and I'd say that his human is either A- or B. And I feel alright putting his human in A-. But again, he's not very active constantly, so it's hard to gauge. Rhett is a vampire-only player, and I think he's an A tier. He's pretty easily an A tier. I'm not sure if his vamp is S. I wouldn't say his vamp is S. It's probably an A tier. Chin? Oh boy, do I have some history with Chin. Yeah, I mean, not like negative. I don't know, I had like a couple of arguments with him because he had a period of very bad lobbies. So him vamping in those lobbies was annoying, because he'd always just go for like pulse, and then you can't pick coins, and then he'd rush sphere, and you'd be in a base with the blood spots, and I'd have to spam like sapphires and emeralds around my base. It's just wild. So Chin is, his vampire is probably an A or an A minus. I'm still not sure. He's kind of a wild card, but he's also like one tricky in a sense. So I think his vampire is A minus, and his human, and this is the history part, is, I swear to God, there were so many games where I'd be like, Chin is about to hold for me, you know, I can greed. And vampires would like blink and he'd die, and then I become tilted. So that was in that period of lobbies. Like he'd stomp you as a vamp in a lobby, because the lobbies were just so snowbally, and he'd like destroy you as a vamp, and then he'd have to hold for you as a human, and he'd just like discombobulate, you know. Joel, I don't know, I don't feel confident when he's holding, so around there. Big Boy, kind of the same thing. Yeah, kind of a similar tier. Baby, again, somebody who like is, I think, an older player, came back and then like left again, so I don't know, around there. Lyrical, probably around here or here, I'm not sure yet. I guess I feel the same when he's holding compared to a lot of these other people. So yeah. Again, an active player currently. I'd say both. Actually, I put it like this and this. So yeah. Dante's around here probably. Something like that. Like left to right matters somewhat, you know. Evan's equal. He's a decent human. I trust him to hold a lot of games. Rembrandt is a very weird vamp player who has some very weird tactics that can sometimes work, but once you've like played against him once, it's realistically never gonna work. So yeah, he has a weird playstyle overall. I put him around this tier. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't feel fine with Waterwalker being in this tier though, but I also don't feel like he's much above it. I might just do something like this. Yeah, he's closer to A than he is to like C, definitely. But he doesn't play a lot, so it's also very hard to like gauge. Zephyr? I think that Zephyr is a really good vampire. I might say that his vampire is better than K4's, which means that I would have to do this, probably. Yeah, it's really hard to gauge. His human though, I really don't trust him to hold. I'm sorry, I really don't. It's either a B or a C, I'm not sure yet. I think he's better than everybody in C, so we're gonna put him around here in B. I don't trust him to hold. It is what it is. I don't feel comfortable letting him hold. Yeah, this, by the way, we started HC clan, so that's nice. Bender. I think that Bender's vampire is around here, and his human, I think that Bender has fallen off a little bit, but he hasn't played, so it does have to do with amount played, which means that I will probably put it around there. If he played more, he'd easily be edging near the top. He'd be Z tier. When he was like actively playing thousands and thousands of games, he would definitely be in Z tier. But as is currently, I think it's just about here. Mono. I think the Mono is a really good vamp and human, but he primarily like plays human, and he has a lot of games recently. I'd probably say that he's the best player we have currently. But again, there's some players here who would easily beat him out if they had good ping, so there's that to keep in mind as well. Otherwise, yeah, mono for human is definitely Z. I should have probably added a vampire tier as well and put it in S. That's how I'd rate that. MXYZ, I think he's pretty equal in both skill levels. I think he's definitely above these people, but I think he's definitely below these, so this seems like a good spot for him. I'd say he's practically equal in both vamp and human. If not, his vampire is just slightly better, but yeah, it might be like this, you know. Marma, it's a bit of a wild card, because it's like sometimes he's gonna hold really well and sometimes he's not, and it's hard to decide based on that. I guess it's between A- and A. He's closer to an A- when I look at it like this. Another, it's also a bit of a weird one. Sometimes he'll hold for a very long time, sometimes he'll feed a lot whilst holding, sometimes he'll not. I'd put him above Marma, which is why I kind of want to move Marma down. Sway with me. I think he has a better vampire, a lot better vampire than his human. I don't trust him to hold when he's human that much. He has some very like dumb deaths. Now his human's between an A- and a B. I think he's an A-, but I'm not confident in that rating. Wills, I'd say around there. Again, somebody who's not very active anymore. Scoomy yeah, I feel confident putting him here as well. I guess something like this. Again, activity is very important, and the more recently I've seen somebody, the higher he's probably gonna be on the list. Zoro Slayer, again, not very active currently. Was active 2 months ago at least. He's between A- and A. I don't think that he's as good as these people in A, so I'm gonna put him in A-. And he's near the top of A-, definitely. Okay, we have VLP clan right now. So, VLP, Kira Deus as a vampire. I think he's probably better vamp than he is human. I don't believe that he's in this tier, so I'd likely put it around here and then have his human around here. I just don't trust him to hold when he's in a game, you know. It's like you know you're bang for your buck pretty much. Yeah, I feel alright with this. Yeah, that's about the order that I would go for. And Torres, I have not seen this individual in many games, and I have not seen him perform in many games, so I'm sorry. Dino, I guess he's a D or a C. I think he's Valantis level, pretty much. You don't expect him to always hold, but you don't expect him to always die. Samyaza, kind of the same deal. Mythico is pretty good. I should have probably added a V and an H for him as well, because his human's a lot better than his vampire. His vampire is like C tier, his human I would put around there probably. That feels comfortable to me. Orle, I'm sorry, I don't see you performing in games. Nahuel, oh, that's Gogblitz. Nahuel, kind of the same deal. So, VLP was like I speedrun that, honestly. Okay, Gogblitz. So, the thing is, Gogblitz is definitely top, tippity top, but it's weird because like he has such high ping, and yeah, he plays insanely well on that high ping. But like if there was if there was no ping for Gogblitz and another individual on this list, it's 100, spoiler alert, if they had normal ping, they'd definitely be like Z plus or something. But with ping, I don't think that they can hold as well as other people do. Some people with like normal ping can do some insane shit. But as is, they're kind of slightly below. Like, I'd say he's slightly below. It's hard, man. I'm gonna put it in Z, and I'm just gonna say if there was a Z plus, he would be above like the Z plus easily with normal ping. And I think his human and his vampire is kind of equal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're both equal. If not, his vampire might even be better than his human, because he's more creative and stuff. Sparks, I don't see Sparks often anymore, and like, if this was like, I don't know, a year or something ago, I'd easily put Sparks at top tier. Right now he's fallen off, pretty much. I think he's fallen off. I think this is a good spot for him. But I also think he's not like as good as Bender or Fotson's human. I think this is fine. Again, Sparks is not a vampire player, I'm not even gonna include it. His vamp wouldn't be very high up on the list. So, Sparks as a human, I think he's better than A tier, probably. But I think he's worse than a lot of S tier. Or not a lot, he's worse than like Bender and Fotson and probably K4 vampires around there. GGH, good guy hero. As human, I would put him around here, probably. I think that's a good spot for him. As vampire, I think he's probably S tier. He's below Z, but he's definitely in S. If not, he's like that in S. Like that, maybe. Xerneas. I think the Xerneas' vampire is easier to place, because I don't feel that threatened when he vamps. So I'd say that it's between a B and an A, and it's closer to like... it's something like this, right? I don't feel threatened by him when he vamps, so... And Xerneas as a human, he's improved a decent amount. There's still like a little bit of weird moments, so we're gonna put him around there. I think that's alright. Joshiu, human and vamp, I don't feel good when he's like supposed to hold, but again, he doesn't play a lot, he plays very rarely, and I haven't seen him in a while. Let's say his human's around here, this level. His vamp's pretty creative and interesting. He's a decent vamp, really. I'd say it's around there. But again, activity really hinders some of these ratings. Bambusha, I did not include a V and an H for him, because I've only seen him vamp a handful of times, and I think is about equal as his human. He is... I think he's around here. I think that's a realistic place to put him. I don't see much fault in that. Although when I look at this tier list more and more, I'd do probably something like this. And bump this down, because I don't feel confident with that rating. Tree Sapling, I really don't see him at all anymore. And he's probably around there. He has to play more for like a different rating. Same with ScarJ. Just need to see him more often. Epiphany, also I don't see him in games. It's hard to gauge. Conversion, he does not play a lot anymore. I'd say he's pretty decent in both vamp and human. When he's on my team as human, I know I can rely on him to hold for some time. And when he's a vamp player, he does feel threatening and he is good to play with. So probably around there. I feel alright with that placement. Unknown God, he hasn't been around for a lot, and currently, if I just gauge him on like currently as a player, he doesn't even have outpost anymore. His tactic was going bottom right and rushing outpost, so it's also hard to place him without outposts. I'm just gonna assume that he'd be around here. Probably be top of B, because he's a very good holder. Okay, we have Archer the Cat. Archer the Cat is somebody who, again, hasn't been very active and came back recently. I put it around here. Feel comfortable with that. Yeah, it's weird. It's hard to match them left to right, so I'm just giving it like a rough estimate. Tsuna's a decent holder. Very decent. Very, very decent. Probably there. Yeah, I feel alright with that placement. Might even be more confident in Bambusha being top tier of A minus. Just timing. Haven't seen him in a lot. Probably here. How did I put Sophie plus V here? It's definitely higher. It's for sure higher. I think it's better like this. Fancy Pants. I believe his vamp is miles ahead of his human. It's probably A minus human, but he's a very threatening vamp. Very, very, very nasty vamp. Might even be Z tier, honestly. Might be Z tier. I'm not sure if I would put him at the same level as Zephyr and Gogblitz vamps. Might be slightly below them. Might be top of S. Axel, didn't see in a while. Again, hard to gauge. Kamizama has some issues. So his vamp's like average, but he doesn't vamp primarily. So I'm not splitting them up. But his issues are like he'd mass a ton of damage, and then he'd go Twilight or Frail Bricks, and then he'd get killed because his wall is really bad. So it's like he has to fix that. Just, I don't know, just go for either like don't play with Orc, go for Blackout, and then you can block with STBs or Super Tower Builders, and or just go for no Slayer, and his tactic would work. But currently he just takes the like more mace oriented bases, and he dies due to having the one or two things that counter his tactics. So yeah. Camp I haven't seen in a while. It's a Vamp only player. That's where I put it. Diet Bleach, I haven't seen in a while again, somewhere around there. Tapsy, I feel alright with putting around there. Yeah, that feels okay. Yamaha, both human and vamp, around there maybe. Userum, same deal. Neon is decent at both. Very, very strong at both. Probably around there. If not higher, probably higher. Like there. I thought I would put conversion ahead. Maybe something like this. That feels fair. Kukurikapu. I do not know how to pronounce that. Kukurikapu. Whatever. Around there. That feels fine. Or this feels more in line. Grive, I think Grive is a lot better at Vamp than he is at Human. His vamp would be around here. If not higher. Probably around here. But his human, I'll put around there. Maybe there. Although I have to bump this down. Zito? Zito had some very, very interesting vamp tactics that would catch you off guard. And he was pretty, like, innovative, I want to say. Like infernal masses and just very threatening attacks where he'd use a fuck ton of gold, but he'd have a chance to kill you. But it's also decently easy to counter. Because you'd know what he does pretty much and you just prepare for it. And it also had like some gameplay issues, which would like make his tactic even stronger. Holy Blood not working that well. Or like Holy Water. Yeah. That's where I'd put it. Maybe there. As a vamp, of course. He doesn't play human. I don't see this individual a lot. I don't know their skill level well, and when I do see them, they're not like impressive or anything, so that seems fair. Exodia, kind of the same deal. If not, maybe there. I added Dawn to this list, by the way, even though he's like not in a clan currently. But I added him as his AG counterpart, you know, his evil brother. Whatever. Dawn, I'd say his vampire's better than his human, if I'm being honest. I'd say his vamp is definitely around there. And I'd say his human's coin flip as hell. I don't want to put his human in B tier, because I think he's better than the majority of B tier. So I don't want to put it in there. We're gonna keep it on the bottom of A minus. Okay, we have another high pink player, so I don't feel bad doing this. I feel like this is alright. Again, if there was like Z plus or something, high pink players with no pink would be there definitely. Although I don't know about 100 Vampire on Z tier. I think his human is better. I think definitely his human is better, but his human also edges out. His vampire also edges out a lot of these. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I would also like say that these that I have here might even be like these 5. They might be better than Sparks and Rug, but I don't feel comfortable putting them a tier down. So maybe like this. I'm not sure, it's really rough. I'd say that this is the order, like left to right really has to apply to these. I'd say that Mono and K4 are the best when they're at their like peaks. Zephyr is a really, really good vampire. He can play really well. Gogblitz, both of his. He's again hindered by ping. 100 as human. I might even put it like this. Fancy Pants, I feel like it's the most threatening out of all of these. I feel like Watson is better than Bender. Not by a lot though. It's not a like night and day difference. I feel like Bender currently is just slightly worse. Yeah, we still have a couple of names. Sergeant Curry, haven't seen in a while. Not easy to put anywhere specifically. Sarah Layla, same deal. Added Skynet to this list. He used to be VFG. It's Aldred for those who aren't like familiar with new and old names. Aldred, See, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like Aldred is S easily. And then of course, wait, I have to do it properly. Yeah. We all know. Everybody knew. Logically. We're gonna aim this to God, the God, you know, yeah. I'm very humble, by the way. I'm a humble individual. I am not a narcissist and stuff like that. Just real opinions, you know, real valid opinions. No, just kidding. I'm gonna leave this up to comments. Fuck, I can remove it from the list now. It is what it is. It stays like that. I don't care. Yeah, we're gonna leave this up to comments. I don't know. If I were to put my vamp used to be a lot better. I put my vamp in B tier. And I don't know where I'd put my human. I don't know. I feel like I'm better than the majority of A tier. But I don't know how I stack up to S tier, so it's weird. It is a weird one, for sure. We're gonna delete this, by the way. I was just joking around. I don't know. I feel like I can hold as competently as a lot of S. Yeah, I think that's okay. I need to work on my vamp. I didn't vamp in a while. Like properly vamp, you know. Just look for hard lobbies when I do, and then I'm rusty as shit, so I don't even play well. But yeah, this is the tier list. Again, comment down what my skill level is. I'm not gonna gauge myself. Like, everybody has a different opinion. Maybe you've seen me in games, maybe you've seen me die in 10 minutes. That happens to everybody. Maybe you've seen me in games and you've seen me hold for like 50 minutes while feeding 0 gold. It's a matter of like how you feel in a certain game. We are playing with many factors. So a lot of these are don't take them too seriously, you know. Take them with a grain of salt, if you will. But yeah, this is my general opinion. I don't think I'd move anything. I'm not sure about moving anything. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Comment what my tiers would be for vampire and human, and comment what you'd move around out of all of these. Okay, so after some reconsideration and moving around and thinking about the spots, I'd say that left to right mostly matters. It's not like 100% accurate, but left to right is important. Noticeable changes. I've bumped down Gogblitz as human. I remember that Gogblitz is like very technically good and everything, but I haven't seen him do some like really hard holds. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is a Z tier human. So I bumped it down a little bit. I don't know what I've switched around. I switched around a lot of places. I've bumped some people up. I've pushed some people down. I made a lot of changes. I mostly thought about if a person who is in a certain tier is better than the rest of the tier, then I had to bump them up, definitely. So I don't know who I moved. I've added Rick. That's a noticeable change. He was missing from the last list, so he's there now. I forgot about him. I added Wolf, I believe, and I think those were the only 2 people that I was missing. So left to right mostly matters. Yeah, I moved around a lot. So I don't know, I think I moved like Conversion and Tsuna, Bambusha. I think Bambusha bumped up at least by like 2 tiers. Because I realized that he probably holds better than most of these. I don't remember if I moved Sophie plus human. I think I did. Fancy Pants Vamp is C tier. I thought about it, and he is one of the best vamps, definitely. That's for sure. Yeah.